Good morning. It is Friday morning in Plantersville, and I'm out on the front porch, and it's right at 6 o'clock or a little before. And I'm out here listening to the birds sing and the cool air and enjoying just the peace and quiet with God for a moment. I want you to turn to Isaiah chapter 65, verse 24, and I'll read that just a minute. I've got a couple of things I want you to pray about. First of all, pray for our opening back up to public worship in a week. Starts a week from Sunday, Lord willing. And I keep praying for this situation with the virus that is still going on. And we don't need to forget that. So pray for God's will to be done, and pray for guidance and direction for your church and for anyone else who's opening up. It's a tough decision and full of uncertainties, but we're going to trust God that we're doing the right thing, and that's what He wants us to do. Pray for Barbara Mabry today. She has had some back issues, and she's on some medicines and things like that. It's in her lumbar region. You know, if you ever had back problems, that's a bad place to have back problems. Any place is, but especially in the lumbar region. So pray for Barbara today, and God will comfort her. This morning I read this verse, Isaiah 65, verse 24. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. God is so good to us, just all the time. He knows everything that we need. He knows everything about us, even before we have known it ourselves, and He's there waiting for us to come to Him. And even when we call to Him, He knows what we are already going to talk to Him about, and He's so good to answer. I just want to give you one example of that in our life this week. Some of you remember my brother Don and his family. Don was out walking his dog, I think Tuesday, and Polo is in the terrier family, just like Josie is, and they like squirrels and they like rabbits and they like to chase that stuff. So as Don was walking her on the leash, she saw a rabbit or something, and she bolted from Don, broke away from him, and went into some woods around a creek by their house. And Don called her and she wouldn't respond. And so Don went back and got some help, and him and his son-in-law looked for Polo for a long time, and they couldn't find her. Didn't know what had happened to her, so she was out in the rain in a mess that night, and stayed out that night and just didn't come home. And that's upsetting. And then Wednesday they went and looked some more and did some other things, and no Polo. So that's upsetting to the family, and somebody will look at that and go, hey, that's not that important in the grand scheme of things. We're dealing with virus and we're dealing with problems and all that. Well, it's important to a family because a dog becomes part of the family. So when I found out, I talked to Don, and it upset me because that's my brother, and I know he's hurting, and just kind of felt like he's helpless. And so Don and Polly put on an Instagram post, and I think in Facebook too, they were looking for Polo, and people were praying for the dog to come back. Well, yesterday afternoon, Don texted me and just had two words: Polo found. So I called him, and I could tell, man, he was relieved, and Polly was relieved, and Polo got back home. She had wandered up into somebody's backyard, and they called Don, and Polly went and got Polo. And I'm sure that there's relief there. But even in that instance, God answered prayer. God knew everything. And that's what's so great about God. Before we call on Him, as the Bible says right here, the Bible says He will answer. And He's already heard our prayers. I don't know how He does all that, but He's God. And so I want to encourage you to live there today. This morning I'm sitting here listening, and I hear birds singing over to this way, and the sun's coming up in the east, and I can see it starting to hit the trees, and it's cool outside, and I'm just full of joy this morning because God has answered prayers, not just for a dog, but for all of us. And I can tell you in our lives in the past 24 hours, we've been dependent on God for an answer to prayer, and He's answered, and it's good. And so it just amazes me what God does. So I hope you'll look for that today, and just know that that comfort is there, that before you call on Him, He's going to answer. and before, as the Bible says, while they are speaking, he still hears us. That's a great promise. Hope you have a good day. Hope that God will answer all your prayers the way you expect him to. He will answer, but sometimes we don't like the answers. But he will lead, and that's a great thing. And this morning, I've got some personal stuff to take care of, and I don't know if I'll be able to do the music videos and all that stuff this morning, but maybe later in the day I can do that. We'll see. But I just want you to know that. I will put out just a short email with a video link in it, so you can have this link. So hope you have a great day. Look for God's answers. Look for his faithfulness. And just like the song 10,000 Reasons states in one of the verses, it's a new day dawning. It's a new day dawning. It's time to hear from God again. So hope you have a good day. Y'all take care of each other. Love each other. Pray for each other. If you need us, let us know. Y'all have a good day.